Welcome to Her Cancer, Our Story, a raw and honest podcast about facing stage 4 metastatic breast cancer as a couple. All right, welcome to episode 3. I'm Mike,
And I'm Kayla.
and this is our story. So, episode 2, we left off. We were getting ready to find out the results of the PET scan. You just want to jump right into that and start there.
Yeah.
Okay.
We didn't get the results we were hoping for, that's for sure.
Yep.
That day we found out that I have stage 4 metastatic breast cancer with metastases to my bones in several areas.
Yeah.
So,
Not at all what we were looking for or expecting, huh?
no, I think we were being realistic with, what the breast oncology surgeon had told us that there was obviously a risk that it had. But when you get that news, it's a shock.
Just don't expect that at all.
No.
All right. So I would what does it feel like now, being a couple weeks removed? What does it feel like at this point to say that, to say it out loud?
um, it's easier. It's I've come a long way in these 2 weeks. I think we both have
It's been a
in a
long
lot of
2 weeks.
ways. Um, but I'm a different person. I'm never going to be the person I was before that day again.
Yeah.
Um, our life has changed forever with this. So,
Yeah, we've said that a couple times throughout this process, but this one is very, very true.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. So that's a real bummer of a way to start an episode, but that's where we are right now.
Yep, it's our reality.
Yep. Okay, let's kind of go back a little bit. I want to ask you the question that I said I was going to ask before each episode. What is your vision for this episode? What do you want to get out of it?
Um, for this episode, I think, it's kind of explaining what has happened since those 2 weeks. But I think it's also starting our journey of bringing awareness of what our life looks like with a stage 4 diagnosis, and also, you know, what we see moving forward for this. I've said all along that I need to find a purpose in this, and I don't love that this, it's a stage 4 diagnosis, and my purpose is different than what I hoped. But again, like, I need to find something that isn't horrible and negative and heartbreaking and all of the things. So, I've learned a lot in these 2 weeks, and I think, this is just the start of hopefully some positive things to come out of it.
Yeah. It's definitely, when we talked about doing this podcast, my vision was much different as far as what we were going to be doing, and it was going to be detailing a story of the struggles of fighting cancer through chemo and all that and getting to the cure, that stage. And I think just like our life is pivoting, I guess we're going to pivot here. And I think we're going to have a lot of really, really good things to talk about. And hopefully we're able to be there for people. And, people are going to be there for us too. So,
I think, December to that day in January, it felt very lonely in a lot of ways,
yeah.
but I also, I have family that has had breast cancer and other cancer diagnoses. I have, just there's people in our lives that we know have had a lot of success and, um, have been in full remission and are cured, in a way. And then getting news like this, I don't know anybody with
No.
stage 4, and the definition of stage 4. metastatic breast cancer is that it's not curable. Some stage 4 cancers are curable. Right now, this one is not. Um,
Oh,
and
I didn't
that's
know that.
what that some other ones are.
Yeah, I didn't know
I
that.
mean, yeah, that's my understanding.
Oh.
Um,
Hmm.
but right now, stage 4 metastatic breast cancer is not. And I think that's also something that is not understood by a lot of people because a lot of people just don't, they're not living it. So I think this kind of will bring awareness to what this actually looks like for people. And I think also can serve as a good reminder for people who are listening of like what you should and shouldn't say. And I don't know, I'm not saying that we're getting into that this episode, but just like in the future, those types of things, like how
Yeah.
to help others. And I mean, this is something we're newly navigating, and I know our friends and family are newly navigating, but we're getting there.
Yep. All right. I don't I've been struggling with this if I want to do this, and I really don't, but what's the purpose of being here and talking about our story if we don't go back to January 21st, the date of the appointment? And I won't are you okay describing what you felt when you heard stage 4? Like, what was your immediate reaction? Just kind of talk to us about the that immediate
Hmm.
reaction, I guess. I don't
Hmm.
know.
Just fear. Um, I
Is,
was so scared.
is that moment is that moment like really etched in your brain?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Like I can picture everything. Um, my mom was there with us, and the build up to that appointment, I was feeling relatively calm,
You
except for, I
were?
mean, that day, like
Yeah.
heading down there, I wasn't, but I was so upset and anxious leading into that appointment, and I just, with the fear that I had was so real, and I've never felt fear like that in my entire life. Um, I just, and it was like one, I just, my skin felt like it was crawling. Like I just couldn't, I don't know. I couldn't wrap my brain around it. Like the intense
Yeah.
like panic I felt hearing those words, but also knowing that you and my mom were going through that too. And there was nothing I could do to stop it. And I couldn't protect you guys from it. And whatever was going through your brain at that time. And it was the worst feeling in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I was thinking about this earlier today, and it's like time immediately stopped and froze, but at the same time, it was moving a million miles an hour. That's like how I can describe it for myself. Like
Hmm.
I felt like I just fell off a cliff and was just frozen in time, but everything else just was going so fast. And she's explaining it to us, and we can kind of maybe get more in depth to the lead up. But you know, she said stage 4 metastasized. There's lesions, and like there was like we all gasped, like we all started crying,
Mhm.
and she just kept talking
Mhm.
and explain. I mean, I don't know what she really said after that. I was trying really hard to listen, but in it it was just a terrible moment.
Mhm. I remember her asking if we needed a few minutes, and we could have maybe said yes, but at that moment I was like, "No, we just need to
Yeah,
keep going," and because waiting and putting the next things on hold, it's not gonna change what's going on, and
right.
I don't know.
I was wearing this kind of like heavy pullover.
Mhm.
I remember I had to about a minute. I mean, it felt like an hour after her talking, but it probably wasn't that long. Obviously, I had to like rip it off because I felt like I was going to pass out, and I was so hot. And she even at one point was like, "Nobody's going to pass out here today."
Mhm.
And she was trying to be a little bit lighthearted about it, and I can always appreciate that. I didn't in that moment.
Well, I mean, your wife was just told she has a non-curable cancer, so
Yeah,
uncurable, whatever you wanna call it.
yeah. Um, So do you want to talk about kind of like the lead up to the appointment when we got down there that day? Like, obviously you were nervous and everything. Like, you were sitting in the waiting room, and you're not a person who like taps or fidgets a lot, and your leg was bouncing up and down. But I guess let's talk about like when she first came into the room and started talking. Like, what was your what was your head like then? What were you thinking? Were you like
I
were
just
you
wanted to know what was
were
happening.
you expecting her to kind of jump right in, or were you expecting to
I
go the way that it
mean,
did? Because she probably talked to us for a good 10 minutes or so before.
yeah, she did an exam. I mean, I remember telling her pretty much right when she got in there that I didn't look at the results. So,
Yeah,
you get the results dropped in your portal. I had them the night before and I
yeah,
knew they were there, but I was not looking at them. And I told her I didn't look and I just wanted her to tell us what it was. And she didn't, which nothing against her. Like, there is no easy way to tell anybody that news,
yeah,
but it just all was shitty.
yeah.
Sorry for my language, but you're a little bit more
That's
open
your
about
first. That's your
using.
first swear word.
I
Good job
know, but I mean,
on here.
listen. Um, and I mean, she did an exam, and I just remember I was so sweaty. I'm a
You
nervous
were.
sweater. I was
Yeah,
so sweaty, and she like put her hand in my armpit, and then I was immediately like, "I'm so sorry. I'm so sweaty," and she's like, "Oh, yeah, you are." Uh huh.
yeah,
And now I can kind of laugh about it. In the moment, like I was just
yeah.
mortified, but also just like, get me out of here.
At any point when she was talking, did you did you read into anything? Like, did you think it was going to go maybe the other way?
No, I don't think she gave a hint either way.
Yeah,
Hindsight, of course. Like, I remember her asking about symptoms, and I was just like, no, no, like I don't know,
yeah,
And so now I'm like, okay, she was kind of like wondering if I had felt anything that would indicate that it was in my bones, and I hadn't. I mean, we can get into the hip stuff later.
yeah.
But yeah, I just no, I don't know that I felt one way or the other. She went through step by step of like starting with what stage 1 looks like all the way around. Um,
See, when she started doing that and she was describing a few of the things, I was like, "Oh, okay, like this is sounding good." Like some of the with some of the lumps and everything, it sounded like they were the way they were still movable and all that. Like, it's like, okay, this is in my head I was thinking it was trending in a good direction.
I know, I remember you saying that. I don't know that I felt one way or the other about it, but then when she wrote stage 4, then it was like, okay,
Yeah,
well,
why would she go? Why would
yeah.
she even explain what stage 4 is?
Yeah.
Um Yeah, that was and then what I liked about her now granted, we like you said, like, she is in a bad spot for us because she told us horrible news and, overall, we really liked her, but at the moment, we didn't, but she did a really good job of explaining the next steps, like, what you need to do, like, she actually,
She did.
drew a little checklist, and she's like, "Okay, I'm gonna do this, you're gonna do this, you need to go and call this person and do this thing, and then I'm gonna do this instead, I'll do this for you." That was nice. The previous appointment before that, it was just like a dump of things that we need to do. And
Good luck.
yeah, and then so I'm very grateful that she did that for us for this one.
Yeah.
Um, but it was still just kind of like like deer in the headlights. You felt like you got hit by whatever
I don't even know.
cliche you want to say.
Mhm.
That's how it felt. And then I think we left. You had to go do blood work right after
I
that,
was I
and
I remember walking over there, and I had to take a number or something, I don't
yeah,
even know, and sit in this waiting room, and nobody else was in there, but it was like glass windows, and my mom was right outside of there, and I just remember I sat down, but then I couldn't sit. I was just pacing, and I was like, "I need to get out of here. I can't do this. Like, I
yeah,
cannot do this." And I knew I had to do it, but I was panicking and I was crying, and then they called me back, and the girl, I remember she was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "No. No, I did not. I'm not okay." And I was like, "I just need to get this done and get out of here." And she was very nice,
yeah,
but I mean, she didn't know, and there was nothing she could have done differently.
yeah.
But I needed to get out of that hospital.
I always wonder how much people know, like the
I know.
receptionist who checked us in, that
Yeah.
the person who drew, like, did she know why she was drawing your blood? Like, did she know? I mean,
I don't
that's
know.
it's. I don't know either. Like when we were checking in, the lady was so nice before the appointment,
Yeah, she was.
and I was thinking to myself, like, man, like, is she being nice because she knows, or is she just like I? You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, yeah, I
I
know.
was
You wonder
you
everything.
look into everything way too deep. So we did the blood work and we got out of there. Like
Yeah.
and I don't know that I thought I was gonna puke a couple times, like in the room, and then we got out to the car. You and your mom got in. I went behind the car, and I really like thought I was gonna puke. I kind of like bent over and gave it a little, ugh, and nothing came out. I was like, okay, I'm not gonna push it, but and then it's like I gotta drive home an hour and a half
Mhm.
from here now, and
Well, and we knew our kids were gonna be home,
yeah,
and I just knew I couldn't go home yet, but I also like, what are we supposed to do? Go down and sit in a restaurant? Like, I
yeah,
wasn't eating that
no.
day. Like, what?
No, that was a horrible drive home. Like, I don't really enjoy driving through the city to begin with, and then, it's like I had to focus so much for the drive part, but my brain's a million other places. I'm so worried about you. My eyes hurt so bad from, like, the crying, but then also just, like, trying to focus, and I remember we got close to home, and we're like, "We don't wanna go home yet."
Mhm.
We were like, we should eat something. It's dinner time, and we drove we took like a detour a long way home, thinking about a restaurant to go to, and we were both like, we don't want to eat. And I remember we were in Thurmont, and I had to stop. Like we were like kind of off the highway driving now, and I was like, I need to stop. And we were by the pond there, and I had to get out and just walk around. And I just like laid next to this big rock and just
Mhm.
cried for 10, 15 minutes. What were you and your mom doing in the car during that time?
Um,
Were you guys talking about
I
things?
think we talked a little bit. I remember sitting in the car. I remember seeing you, but, like, I don't really remember much else.
Okay. Yeah, I
I
just think
just felt awful, and I know my mom was trying to be strong, and she was strong, and
she was. Yeah.
I know that this is just killing her. But I mean, what do you say to people? Like, I don't know. And it's okay that people don't know what to say.
Yeah.
I don't know what you say. I wouldn't know what to say.
I I think like the thing I appreciate most about of like as we talked to people about this and news came out was like the I don't have words. I'm so sorry. Like
Mhm.
that's fine.
Yeah, like, being
Like
honest
that's
is better than trying to fake positivity
yeah.
and all the things, and not that yes, we can be positive and there's things that we can now on
Yeah.
this side of it a little bit more, but in those moments, there's nothing you can say. Just being there and saying it sucks, like, acknowledging the fear and acknowledging how terrible it is, like, that's important,
Yeah.
and I think because nobody knows how we feel. Um
No, I I was trying to like relate this other like so many people have like there's so many women out there who are diagnosed with breast cancer, but we know so few that are diagnosed with stage 4 right off the bat. What's the word for that again?
de novo.
De novo. And I think that's just a whole different ball game. And from what I'm kind of starting to understand from people is that connection is not made. Like they're like, oh yeah, so and so was diagnosed with cancer, and I remember that. And obviously, that's a terrible day, but it's also like you get diagnosed with stage 2, 3, and it's like, okay, here's our treatment plan to cure.
Mhm.
And it's kind of like a road that most people are familiar with. The chemo, radiation, surgery, all that's like that's a road. That's a familiar road.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the things that I've been reading about, not people with earlier stages, and obviously I'm not one of them, so I can't, assume anything. And I just don't want anybody who's listening who has been diagnosed or has a family member who is, to think that. But I think there's like an end goal, like, okay, you have to get through this many chemo treatments, you have to get through this many radiation treatments. The reality for all of them, because I've seen it with my mom and my aunt, like, they forever have to live with side effects from the treatment and all of those things. They forever have to live with the fear of reoccurrence. They like I am not downplaying that whatsoever. Like, again, I
Yeah.
have family that is affected by that.
I think cure is kind of used very loosely because it's
Mhm,
emotionally that it's not cured.
mhm. But I think when you are diagnosed stage 4 de novo right off the bat, you have to come to the realization that you will be fighting this thing for the rest of your life. And not that you aren't living with fears in 1 through 3, but it's just a different level.
Yeah.
And there is no end goal. There is no checkpoint. It's just you I don't know. Like trying to make it through each day and I guess each year. I mean, we're only 2 weeks into this, so I don't really know exactly what that's all going to look like, but
Yeah. It's very scary. No stage is not scary, but
mhm.
where we are is very, very freaking scary.
Yeah.
So we eventually get home, and gosh, that was hard. Luckily, my
Hold
mom
on,
was
I do
here.
want to go back. I
Yes,
know
yes,
during in the car ride we had to call your mom.
yeah,
I did not want to text her the news and I called my grandma and those were 2 of the hardest phone calls that I've ever had to make, and just I mean, they were both wonderful, um, but again, it was like, sitting in that room with you 2 and just knowing that you're heartbroken and then calling these 2 really important people to us and knowing that they were gonna be heartbroken too, and it just the never-ending bad news,
yeah.
it feels like. So I just wanted to acknowledge, that real quick.
No, thanks. Yeah. So getting home was hard. I was not very good when we got home. I'm glad we had support here. Are you gonna say something?
I'm
Good.
I got a little mad at you that night. I think I can be honest
Yeah,
now. I
yeah.
mean, listen, I love you, and I think we've been very good through this whole thing. But that night, I was like, I was just diagnosed with this nasty, horrible thing, and here you are. You can't even like function,
I know.
and it, it just I was so mad.
I know you were. I knew it, and I I'm sorry. Now, some of it, like I said, the drive home, like that,
I know, and I was
tore
trying
me
to give you some
apart. Like
grace.
I was my brain was done, and I mean, obviously, I say that like I'm expecting sympathy from you, but I was drained, and it was awful. That was a hard night. I don't know. I remember you said something to me that night, laying in bed. I don't know if you remember this, but you were like, "I need you to stop looking at me like I'm dying."
Yeah, I remember.
What made you say that?
I
Like,
mean,
what
in
was I
that
doing?
moment, I just I don't know exactly maybe in that moment. I think because I knew, like, obviously our fears for, I mean, still now today, but like, especially those first few days are just all you can think about is death and when is it going to come and how is it going to come and what is this going to do to our family and our kids. And that's all you can think about. It's consuming and it's horrible. And not that I don't worry about that every single day now, but it is different now. There's a different weight on it. Um, but I just I think even that day I knew that we had to find some way to live through this. And if everybody's looking at me like I'm going to die any day or whatever, like how are we supposed to live? So, I think I just had to be very honest with you of like please don't look at me like I'm dying right now because I'm not right now.
Yeah,
And also, like, I don't want pity in a way, like, not that I know people feel horrible and I appreciate that and that support and everything, but I don't want people to look at me like I'm broken. And I said that. I mean, I
yeah,
have said to you, I feel like I'm broken. So I'm not, that has
right.
been a very real thing that I have felt. But I don't want every day for the rest of my life, hopefully for many, many, many years, for people to just to be like, she's dying right now because I'm not.
Yeah. No, I'm glad. I'm glad we talked about that because that moment really stuck with me, and I never really went back to talk to you about that.
Yeah.
But It hit hard for me.
I know. But I think, and I know we'll talk about this probably, in a way, like every episode. It's just, I am so proud of how you and I have handled this together because I think this can make or break a couple. And yes, we're early on in this. But the way that we support each other is so important through this. Like that's why we're doing this. And I think even the deepest, darkest, scariest thoughts that both of us have had, at least that I've had, I have shared with you. And it's so hard. And I know you don't like hearing it because it's like hard and just emotionally draining. But I think being realistic and being honest in that, like voicing those fears out loud to you is so helpful for me because I'm not carrying like that fear and that weight alone. But I hope that you've also been able to do that.
Oh, 100%. Like, that's one thing I've learned over the last 2 months is, like, you're gonna go down some dark roads,
Mhm.
really fucking dark, scary places, and if you hold those thoughts in, it's not good. Like,
Mm-mm.
it when you say the scary thing out loud to each other, it you really do feel a weight get lifted off, like, immediately after saying it, it's like, "Okay."
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, and I know recently there was one point I did tell you I was like, there might be occasional times that if you're having a hard day, but I'm doing well, I might need you to hold back a little bit.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I need you to find somebody else that you can tell those things to. And not that you can't tell me at some point. It's just, especially like that first week or so, like if I was having a good moment, I needed to have that
Yeah.
moment as long as I possibly could because the hard moments were so hard and bad for so long.
Yep. No, I mean, one thing I'm seeing is and I assume you're feeling this way is, like, right now, like, my happiness is very much tied to what you're feeling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, if you're having
And
a
I get
bad
that.
day, I'm having a bad day. Like, I'm so nervous and scared and worried about whatever's upsetting you, and but then, like, if you're having a good day and I might be having a bad like, I feel like, I'm like, I can't talk up like, eh, I don't wanna bring your high down,
No, I know.
and so that's been tough, and look, we're 2 weeks really into, like, the worst of this, so I get it, like, if anyone's listening to this who's been farther down this road, like, hopefully you're laughing and like, you get it, but yeah, it's been very challenging. So you mentioned you called, like, our family first thing, my mom and your grandma were the first 2 people to know, but outside of our immediate circle, how did you how did you decide to reach out, like, to announce this, to let people know, like, who your friends and stuff? What was that like?
Ugh.
Was that a text or
Yeah, it was a text for everybody. I was not in an emotionally, mentally stable place to be able to have that conversation on the phone with anyone.
yeah,
Um, and it I it's I don't know, what do you say? Like
yeah,
and but I chose to be very open about what we were going through for those 2 months before this, and I then also knew that I would then have to tell people fairly quickly because they knew that appointment was that day. They knew
yeah,
we were going to find out results. Um, I know one of our really good friends, who's kind of connected to a lot of our college friends, Becca. I did tell her right away. She's a PA, so we've been talking a ton. She's been really helpful with a lot of different things. We've talked about her before.
she's been more than really
I can't
helpful. I
even
like
describe.
yes, what a great person.
Yeah,
From
there's
day one, from the
Mhm,
immediate, like,
mhm,
when you found a lump, that was the person that you
yeah,
reached out to, and they've helped so much with, like,
mhm,
just understanding, like, when we like some of the results that came in that you did look at on the chart, like, what does this mean, kind of stuff, and
mhm.
we're so blessed that
I know, I trust
yeah,
her with my life.
yeah,
It's just I mean, she's been so supportive, and I know as a friend, like, that has to be so hard for her,
yeah,
um, But then I know, was able to relay that to some of our other really close friends. She asked, if that was okay, and I asked, I agreed. I just at that moment needed somebody else to kind of start spreading that message a little bit.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fuzziness around those first several days.
Oh yeah.
Um, I guess that was a Wednesday. Took off Thursday, Friday. Thankfully, the next week we had 4 snow days, ice days, whatever you wanna call them. Um,
Yeah.
so that was at least a nice ease into, like, what does life look like now?
Wow. I can't believe. I For some reason I thought there was another week in between.
No,
Wow.
I know
Yeah.
it's yeah. I mean, we're 2 weeks.
I mean, it was a lifetime ago.
Yeah, little more than 2 weeks.
Oy. Yeah. I don't think I reached out to anyone those first couple days. Like I got a couple messages from the guys who I assume heard from their wives, but I
Mhm.
just wasn't ready to say it yet. I don't know. It was.
Because saying it makes it real, and even though it's very real for us, it's just once that news gets out there to other people, I don't know,
Yeah.
just confirms what the nightmare that you're going through is.
You get a lot of messages that those next two, couple days.
Yeah, I mean, the
What?
support has been unreal.
Yeah, and one thing I wanted to ask you and kind of like talk about a little bit for people out there. So you got a lot of messages, but I'm guessing you didn't. If you're anything like what I like, you didn't respond to a lot of them
I
quickly, right?
I mean,
And that,
there's still some that I have not responded to,
yeah,
and I did put that out there on, like, my Facebook and my Instagram, just that the because about, I don't know, was it a week later that I posted out there on social media for everybody to hear the
oh,
news? I think
I
so.
thought, I don't
I
know.
felt like we were carrying this, like, heavy secret, and it was eating me alive. Like, yes, of course, like, our core group of people knew, but I just needed that information to be out there because I don't know, it just felt so heavy. And so put that out there. And then obviously I've gotten a lot more messages and things like that. And I think a day or two after I just kind of put it out there, I have not responded to everybody yet. And I just know I appreciate it. And I'm getting to it, but I know still to this day, I still have people that I need to respond to.
Yeah,
And it's just, I can read the messages and I love reading them, and I go back and read them and I appreciate it so much, but I just am not always in the headspace to be able to respond.
I found it hard to respond sometimes. It's like what. Thank you, and which I know, like that, but like it didn't feel like enough, and then also like I
Mhm.
don't know what else to say. Like, sometimes if I don't know, like, if I don't have more than just the basic thank you, like, I don't even know what to say, and I don't wanna seem rude, so it's like I have a few that I haven't really responded to, but yeah, it means so much. So if you ever come across someone in this situation and you're worried about reaching out, 'cause maybe you don't know them that well or whatever, reach out. All you have to I think some of the best things people said is, like, "You don't have to respond, please. I don't expect a response. I just want you to know we're thinking about you," and that like, those did mean a lot to us.
Mhm. And even the people when I have then gotten a chance to respond and I've said like, "I'm so sorry I didn't get back to you sooner." Like, they've been so quick to be like, I never expected a response," or "Please, like, no, that you don't have to respond right away." Um, and I think this is something too, the first initial responses are great, but don't be afraid to keep reaching out. Even if somebody doesn't, like, we don't respond back right away, you can still, like, those check-ins mean a lot. And not that you have to do it every day or even every week, but just reminding people that you're there. Because everybody, of course, is like, what can we do? We want to help. And right now, I don't know. I don't know what we need. And it's a lot to try to think of what we need. Our treatment plan looks so different than what we expected it to be. Again, this is going to be a lifelong thing. It's not going to be a 1 or 2 year thing. So we're just trying to navigate day by day right now. So again, just if you're listening, support your people. Don't be afraid to reach out. Just, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And thank you for everyone who has. So I'm gonna jump to this question here. I was gonna leave it for the end, but I think now's a good time. And you don't know what this question's going to be. What has cancer taught you at this point?
Ugh, I think regardless of, I can assume anyway, regardless of what stage you are faced with, when you hear that you have cancer, your life stops and there's a before and there's an after. And like looking back at pictures and things, I'm like, oh, that was before cancer. Um, was the cancer in my body already? Like, was it growing then? Like, I look back at pictures from last summer and I'm like, well, it had to have been in my body already. Like, it doesn't just go to
Yeah.
stage 4 overnight. Like, that's not how it works. And so everything is a before and an after diagnosis. And something that I'm trying to hold on to and learn from is that mindset is everything. So we had some really, really, really bad days. And I had some terrible thoughts that I went through. And I remember saying to you and my mom, like, I can't live like, I don't want to live like this, like crying all the time and sad and scared. And I was like, this is not who I am. I've never been like this. And I don't want to live like this because that's not living.
No.
Um, so I think it's, I don't know, I'm just rambling, but I think it's picking yourself up and allowing yourself, yes, to have those hard moments and to be sad and to be mad and angry and scared, but then remembering the good things and remembering that this life is short and all of us, I told you what last night, like all of us are going to die. None of us know when that's going to be. And yes, has the reality been harder for me now than ever before? Of course, but I could die from anything. And so I think it's teaching me that the little things don't matter as much as we think they do, to let go of some of the stuff that, is been always such a big deal and it really isn't a big deal. And I'm not great at that yet, but I'm trying to get better. Um, and just moving forward and living life. And again, we're new at this and we don't know all the side effects and the symptoms and the challenges that we're going to face in the future, but that's why we have to just start moving forward now.
Yeah. That's good. It took you a while to get there, but you got to exactly where what my answer
It's a
was. And
lot.
no, yeah, it's just to let go of the little things. And I guess I'm specifically saying that like in our relationship, like there's so many things that you do that annoy me, like so many,
Hey.
But now it's like, I go to put a load of laundry in and there's clothes in the washer who've been in there for who knows how long, and it's like, okay, that's fine.
Is it fun?
It's fine. It's
Is
it's
it?
fine, yeah. But no, it's just, stuff like the little things, like, I'm someone I don't think I'm difficult to live with or anything, but, like, I have my things that I'm very sensitive about, I guess, and annoy the heck out of me, and I can't let it go sometimes, and it'll lead to some arguments,
Hmm.
some good arguments.
I don't think we've argued once since December 7th.
W
Maybe one
One
time.
time driving to one of the appointments because you screwed up directions when trying you told me to turn somewhere where I shouldn't have turned, and then
I know, and you
I
apologized. Well, I
did.
mean, I did have to convince you to
I
apologize the
mean,
nice way, but you did
I
apologize.
did, and then we actually got in an argument, I think last night or 2 nights ago, about the same one of the things that, like, drives me nuts is when someone says I did or didn't do something that I clearly did, and they won't let it go and they just won't say, that, "You're right, you did do this."
I know, but you have walked away a lot faster than
No,
usual.
I know,
So
and that's what I mean, like, it w don't like, there's no reason to let it get to the point where you're yelling at each other saying, "I hate you." Yeah. We don't go there, we didn't go there often, but we've gone some yelling matches before, and it's just why?
I know it's not worth it.
Because no, because this, like, you're my life, and why would I want to get to the point where I'm that mad over something so stupid, even if you are being ridiculous?
Well, and I think, I mean, again, we're only 2 weeks into this, and
Right.
I think we need to probably remind ourselves of that a lot, but you're right. I just I don't know, and I probably need to do a little bit of a better job at not being I've been snappy this week, and I am curious if it's a little bit of my first med side effect.
Oh, see, I actually haven't even noticed that. But again, maybe that's just me. Like I do feel like I'm very much in the let it go thing right now. And I mean,
It's very appropriate considering our youngest son loves Elsa and Let It Go.
yeah, we have a very big fan of Elsa. All right. Well, you kind of brought up some of the treatment you started. So let's talk about what a treatment plan looks like for stage 4 cancer.
Yeah, so obviously, this is sorry everybody, this is gonna kinda get into some of like the medical side of things, and I'll do my best to explain as much as I can, but I do think it's really important for people to have an idea of what this looks like because it is very different than the typical like when you think about cancer, you think chemo, radiation, and it's usually like IV chemo or whatever. And stage 4 over the years has changed and the way they treat it has changed. Of course, it depends significantly on what subtype you have. So, for those of you who don't know, there are multiple different subtypes of cancer, breast cancer in general. Um, the big ones are, hormone positive, HER2 positive or negative. And going back to that hormone one, hormone positive or negative. There's triple negative. There's just multiple different things that can happen. So just as a reminder, mine is hormone positive, HER2 negative. We did learn that it is like could be considered HER2 low negative, which down the road could open up another treatment option for us. Um, but right now, it that doesn't really come into play. So, when you are hormone positive, HER2 negative, the first line of treatment, and it's considered the gold standard currently, is basically hormone blocking therapy. So, my cancer feeds off of my hormones, my estrogen specifically. And so that is why I had to get my IUD removed immediately upon learning of the subtype back in December. But I obviously, at 36 years old, I have not gone into menopause yet. So that's the first thing. So let's see. It was like, what was it, last Friday? So just over a week after getting the official diagnosis, I went in, and the first thing that we're doing to stop it is called Zoladex. That's a monthly injection that I will get. And that will put my ovaries into like a medical induced menopause. So basically, that will help slow or stop cancer growth. Um, and then the second thing that I will take is an aromatase inhibitor. I'm not going to use the exact name right now on here because there's a couple different ones that people can be on, and it just depends on like what your doctor's preference is. It depends on your body's side effects. They pick one, they check for side effects, and you can always move to a different one. But it's an aromatase inhibitor. That's a daily oral pill, and it reduces your estrogen levels even further. So the Zoladex stops my ovary estrogen production, but the letter or I just said it. The letrozole, I'll just go ahead and say it.
Shout out.
Um, that stops your estrogen that's made other places in your body. So that will happen, and then the third one so I'll take the aromatase inhibitor in, like, 2 to 4 weeks. Well, now I guess it's, like, 1 to 2 weeks probably from now I'll start it. And then the next one is, a CDK4/6 inhibitor. Mike, do you know what that term means?
It sounds science fiction to me. What was it?
So, it basically, like, slows your cancer cell growth. So, the 3 things are used in combination together to either slow or stop or completely like reduce the cancer cells in your body. Um, so that medicine is also a pill, and I think it's generally you do like 3 weeks on, 1 week off, um, from what I'm understanding. So those three things kind of come together. They obviously dramatically lower my estrogen, they slow my cancer growth, and they help keep my disease controlled for longer. So the biggest thing with my treatment is that there are multiple lines of treatment available, but your hope is that each line of treatment lasts as long as it possibly can, because that gives you longevity, it gives you quality of life. For those of you wondering, surgery really is not something that they do. I think maybe in unique cases, so I'm not saying it could never happen for me, but from what they've learned over the years is that like mastectomy, things like that's not something. Lumpectomy, they don't target that at all. Um,
Which just seems weird to me that you have this relatively large tumor and it's just I mean, I know like the idea is it's going to shrink and like I don't know if they're expecting the big one to disappear or if that's like a
I
hope
mean,
or
so the goal for me is that it either keeps everything stable, so no progression, no growth of the cancer I have in my breast, the cancer I have in my lymph nodes, the cancer I have in my bones. Going back to my bones, I guess I can kind of go into that a little bit further. I have bone metastases in my pelvis, hips area. I think that's like the biggest area that I have it. The head of my right femur, my T9 and T12 vertebrae, my ribs, my left scapula, and I think that's it.
yeah.
Um, I got a PET CT. The PET gets all metabolic activity. So that showed cancer in all of those places. The good news is that the CT is it picks up like destruction of bones and things like that, and that did not show anything. So at this time, I don't have any, it's not breaking down my bones yet. It's probably pretty early stages of bone metastases, but it is in several different locations. That's a key thing. Um, the area they were most concerned about was my right femur head, that area, because that could be at risk for fracture. Some people have to get surgery. Thankfully, I was cleared by an ortho-oncologist. He was amazing. I would see him again, but I'm glad I don't have to.
Yeah.
Um, he did x-rays. I got a pelvic MRI. All of that was fine. So I'm good to go there. I don't need that at this time anyway. And what else?
Yeah. So but I guess I want to go back a little bit to the tumor,
Sorry.
and no, that's fine. No, thank you for explaining all that. Um, earlier on, I think you mentioned it in either probably the first episode, and you definitely mentioned it to me before. You describe this thing as like you have this thing in you and you just want it out. Like, how is that mindset now with the tumor that's in your breast? Like,
Yeah.
are you hyper aware that it's still there, or is it like, okay, we're in this together for now, buddy?
It's my little buddies that are just
Yeah,
hanging out with me. Um, I don't know. Yeah, I remember that first day. I was like, I just want to get it out. I don't
yeah.
want
Like
it
when you feel
anymore.
it now, like,
I
is
do.
it like, ugh, or is it just
Um, I mean, it's becoming more natural, I guess,
really?
but I don't like it.
Yeah,
Um, I don't want it. I wish it was gone. I wish I could go through the steps of getting it removed, of course, because then that would mean I didn't have stage 4. But, I mean, one thing, of course, I want stability. I want it to stop the growth, but this treatment could potentially get me to no evidence of active disease. So again, stage 4 breast cancer is not curable yet. I'm just going to keep saying yet.
yeah.
Like hopefully one day, like science is coming a long way.
Mhm.
Um, so I'm always going to have it. It is not going away right now with the current medicine that we have. It just is what it is. And I know people have a hard time wrapping their brains around that. Of course, you and I do too.
Yeah,
But that's just something we have to live with. So I'm not going to go through this right now thinking like I'm going to be some magic person who gets cured. That's just not the reality at this moment in time. But you can get to no evidence of active disease, which means that there aren't visible signs of cancer in your body. Now, the reason why it's not curable and why I can't ever be in official remission is because there will always be microscopic cancer cells floating around somewhere in my body that scans and tests can't show. And that's because it's spread beyond local or regional disease spread.
it's still just so it's still like hard for me to wrap my head around. Like, what does it matter if it spreads somewhere? If it's like if everything that's noticeable was killed. Like why couldn't that happen if it was localized still? Like where there was
Well, I
and it
think that's why reoccurrence with breast cancer is so
yeah,
high. Like, I think it's something like, and again, I don't have the statistics in front of me, but it's like 20 to 30% of people who have early stage breast cancer, so 1 through 3, end up having a reoccurrence as stage 4. Because even with double mastectomies, even with chemo and radiation, there can still be microscopic cancer cells that are left behind. And for some people, they can stay dormant in their body for years and years and years. Some people might not have reoccurrence for 20 years, 30 years. Some people don't ever have it,
yeah,
but some people have it within a year or 2 or 5. Like that 5-year mark is a big mark for people to get to.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
so,
All right. Um, so as far as the treatment goes, there's kind of like that first round you talked about, and then I think there after like if if needed and everything, like there's other options out there. I know like she mentioned like there's radiation available. Like it's just progressive as the cancer fights whatever is being thrown at it. They
mhm.
have other options, and I don't know if we need to get it because we don't really know
No, I mean, I think
what.
right now we
Yeah.
just have to put our focus on this first line of treatment and staying on this first line as long as possible. And, going back to that aromatase inhibitor and the CK4/6 thing, both of those types of hormone therapy have a couple different options within it. So even if I switch to a different aromatase inhibitor, I still think that's considered like first line of treatment.
Hmm.
It's just again going back to the side effects. So I've been on the Zoladex, or I've had the Zoladex in my body for 1 week. So we're kind of monitoring these symptoms, seeing what's going on. I'm going to add that second medication in a couple weeks. We'll monitor those symptoms, see what's going on, and like the hope is obviously that I have the least amount of side effects possible. But the reality is, I am going to be going into menopause. So lucky you,
Yeah.
get to live through that with me way early. And,
Yeah.
again, like medical menopause it's not great because it does put my bones at risk for osteoporosis way earlier than they're really meant to be. So that's something that we're going to have to navigate and make sure that I have bone strength and, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But again, first line of treatment, just for everybody out there, just let's hope this one works well.
Yeah. I'm amazed, and I want to kind of give you this credit right now. Like 2 weeks removed from a horrible moment in your life, and you've had this, especially this week, like your outlook and attitude right now is so positive, and obviously I notice because I live with you, I'm married to you, but other people notice it. Like when I picked Everett up from daycare, I don't know who the person was. They're like asking about you. And they're like her. It's amazing what she's doing. Right? Her attitude is. I love it. It's so refreshing and positive. So
Yeah.
I want you to know that.
Thanks. I don't I want to be real. I have hard moments, but this week in particular, I'm like, okay, like I can do this. There were so many times I went to you and I was like, I can't do this. I don't know how to do this. And I truly felt like that in that moment. Like I didn't know how to get from one day to the next. And I think it's kind of like a switch flipped of just like, this is what you have right now. And you can make a choice. You can make a choice to be miserable and sad and whatever every day for the rest of your life. Or you can have those hard moments and allow yourself to, but say, I'm not going to let this control me. Like, I don't want cancer to be controlling me. Do I want it to be an important part of my life at this point? Yeah, in a positive way, yes. Like I want to make a difference. I will get into all of that. I want to figure out ways to help bring awareness and advocacy and like, do all the things. But I have you and I have my family. I have my our 2 boys that I have to live for. And however long I have on this earth, like I need to make the most of it because I don't want to be sitting there 20, 30 years from now, because that's how long I wanna be here at least, and think, "What were you doing? Like, why didn't you live your life?"
Yeah.
And do I still have to get up and go to work every day right now? Of course I do, but I care about that, and our kids care about, being a normal mom and living our life, and that's really important to me. And I think it's also I want to be an example for other people that you can go through really hard things and you can have a nightmare happening and still find ways to get through.
Yeah.
Um,
I think that's like going to be a pretty big pillar of this podcast is parenting through all of this. We're kind of like we spent the first three episodes. If you're here, you've really been with us for about 3 hours now, total listening to this, and really just we're giving you updates on everything, and we're pretty much at where we are now. But we'd like to kind of move forward and focus on some like more subject specific and
mhm,
topic specific episodes from here on out. And parenting is going to be a huge one we talk about because it adds such a different element to it. If it was just you and I, like obviously things would be different. It would be miserable and everything, but there's so much more fear now and
mhm,
everything. So kind of expect more about that, and like I said, we'll have more specific things. But you mentioned you have like some of the resources that you have to help. And real quick here, what resources have you sought out these last 2 weeks that maybe someone listening wouldn't know that's out there? Like just what have you done to help yourself?
mhm. I mean, I have had obviously friends and family. That's been like the number one support, but some of those people have provided resources to me, and one is a local organization to us. It's a breast cancer awareness, like incorporated, but they are just they have so many local things for people. And I met with the director a week ago, and she just was incredible. And again, she's like, I don't really know what you need right now, but whatever you might need, like reach out to us. And if we can help you, we'll help you. And she gave us some books and some things. She gave us bears for the boys, and um, just told us about some different opportunities and things that could come up down the road. I've also added myself to some Facebook groups and followed some people on Instagram, and I have to be careful with that. I have to remind myself that the people who are doing really well and are having a lot of success with this disease aren't going to be posting on there all the time. So, of course, you are going to hear a lot of the harder, scarier things. So I just have to know when I can let myself read some of those things and when I just need to back away. And I've been much better about that now, like this week. The first week, that was not as great. And I didn't really tell you about a lot of that stuff because I didn't want to scare you more.
Yeah,
But I
I'm
think
okay
I've
with it.
done a much better job of knowing what I can handle. But there are some people that I've followed on Instagram who are currently living with this, and a lot of them are moms. And they are very positive people, so I think, like, seeing that has been really great. One of them I actually did reach out to. She has been diagnosed for 2 years, I believe now. She lives in New Jersey, and just she seems to have a very positive outlook, and I just kind of was like, "How did you get through, like, these first initial weeks and months? Like, this is horrible." And she's like, "Yeah, the first couple months are the worst, and then you just kind of can move on and not move on, but you learn how to live with it." And she had a lot of really great things to tell me. Both her and another person that I've become friends with local here told me about Living Beyond Breast Cancer. It's an organization that obviously can support anybody who's going through it in different stages, but they also have a lot of metastatic resources. And she also told me about a conference that's coming up in Philadelphia that is specifically for stage 4 metastatic breast cancer. So I think that's something that we're looking into to possibly go to, just because again, it can we can grow and learn a lot going there. But I think going back to that like advocacy piece, like I really want that to become part of our lives. And I think, this is one way that we're doing that, but I want to figure out like how we can get involved in this community and help awareness and funding and research, and because it affects me, but it's going to affect so many different women out there and men too. So,
Yeah.
sorry, again, went on a rambling tangent. That's just what I do.
No,
I'm already so passionate about it, and I'm sure you can kind of tell, but
you are, and I'm so proud of you for that. And you hear so many times so much about mentality through this and positivity. and I do think it helps. And I think also having a purpose through this, like, why the hell did you get cancer? Like, I mean,
Mhm.
obviously, there's got to be some genetics out there with your mom and your aunt had it, and it's like in your family.
Yeah,
But
we'll talk about that at a
yeah,
different point. We're
apparently
not gonna
it's
talk
not.
about that today,
Yeah,
but
but um, it's like I don't know where I fit in on everything, like the whole like everything happens for a reason, but now like you have something and you have a reason to help people and
yeah. And I think obviously I want to be a motivator, I don't know, not an inspiration. That's not like the best word, but anybody that I can help with this, even if it's just one person, that's great. But I think about our kids and I think about the boys and just obviously they're too young right now to really know and understand what is happening at 3 and 8, but I want them to look back when they're older. Sorry. And anytime I talk about them, I get emotional. Um but I want them to be proud of me and the way that I got through this and the difference that I've made for us as a family, but also other people.
yeah,
And so that is the reason why I'm getting up every day and putting one foot in front of the other. And I'm not always doing the best job. I'm doing the best I can in that moment. Um, but I just want them to be able to look back and think, man, like she went through something that was the worst thing ever, but she did it and she was positive and motivated and, you know, just busted her butt to do the best she could.
what's your motto?
Just show up.
Yeah,
And I got that from somebody else who navigated a cancer journey, 10 years ago. And she just kept saying that to me. And that's become my thing now. And I just, oh gosh, she's been amazing. And
yeah, I think that it was applying mostly to like the appointments and everything and treatment, but I think it
it's
obviously,
becoming something different.
yeah, it's much bigger.
Okay. Whew, got through that. So
Yeah, you
we
think
talked way longer than I expected us to talk tonight.
oh, I didn't. We talk a lot.
I know people are going to have to put us on like one
Yeah.
and a half speed or
No,
something.
don't do it. That's crazy. I
No,
don't know.
that's what I do.
You do, and that's psycho. It stresses me out. Listen, when I can hear you listening to podcasts at fast speed, I get anxiety.
I know you do. I always have to decrease it when we're in the car
Yeah.
together.
All right. Well, with that, I think it's a good time to wrap this up. Do you have any parting words?
I think whether you are facing a cancer diagnosis or struggling with something at home or at work or whatever might be going on in your life that just feels out of control or like hard, I think you just, think about other people who are also going through hard things and just know that you can do it and you can get through anything. You just got to take it one moment at a time, one day at a time, and just show up for yourself, show up for your family, just keep showing up. That's all you have to do.
I love it. I love you.
Love you too.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next episode.